backs, Max Johnson and Adam Devine out wide, and it'll be interesting to see how the players get on in this shape.
Well, of course, that's important as well when you've got such a big campaign coming up, to test and trial different formations, different systems, see if the players can fit into that. And as you say, we went with 3 at the back this afternoon, mimicking the first team. Let's hope it works.
There's the captain, Liam Morrison, on the ball, out to Jeremiah Mullen. Two of them started at centre-back together in the game on Thursday. But they are joined by Lewis Nielsen at Hearts in that back 3, as we just mentioned. Morrison, and he's robbed of the ball high up the pitch by Josh Thomas. Ball flipped forward by Eli King, but Liam Morrison will be there to mop things up for Scotland. And one thing that was noticeable in that game, Mark, on Thursday night was how comfortable the defenders were on the ball, happy to take the ball in and look for those passes out from the back.
Well, it's a modern game now. It's a wee bit different when I was at under 21 level, Andrew, where that wasn't the way the game flowed. But when you've got guys like Liam Morrison with the pedigree he's got and the upbringing he's getting across in Germany, well, you'd expect nothing less, and it really is a modern game, and we are getting more and more comfortable with it, and these are the games to try it out and get more comfortable as we go on.
Mullen looking for the run of Max Johnson, but it's cut out by Wales, but Scotland winning the ball back quickly. Morrison over to Adam Devine. Mullen to Max Johnson. It's well won by Owen Beck, puts it out for a Scotland throw.
Watching the A squad playing yesterday, it was a point that I was looking at, that the wing backs who are used to playing full backs probably for their club side, how they adapt to playing the wing back role. You see Max Johnson there receiving the ball much higher up the pitch, just allowing Owen Beck to get to him quicker, and that's a difference. You know, it'll be the same on the other side. Adam Devine used to playing full back as well. When you play that wee bit higher up the pitch as wing back, then you have to adjust your game slightly. So interesting to see how those two get along this afternoon.
Abdullahi out to Adam Devine, showing his versatility. He's played out on the right and out on the left for Rangers this season, starting out on the left today for Scotland. Morrison clips that one in behind. He was looking for the run of Max Johnson, but it will go out for a Wales goal kick.
It's a good idea, just poor execution. Max Johnson just holding his run. Wayne Morrison well capable of playing that pass, just gets it a wee bit wrong there, but a good idea. I like that. Everything can't be short, or when you play a couple of short passes, drag Wales in, and then that will allow you to spring your wing backs into the wider areas.
Well, there'll be a throw into Wales on this near side. Owen Beck to take, who is a product of the Liverpool Youth Academy. Flicked round the corner really nicely to Josh Farrell. Eli King. It's forced all the way back.
Matty, get the ball, Matty!
Low. Baker to Owen Beck. Scotland just putting the pressure on Wales here as they look to try and play out from the back. Max Johnson wins it, and Scotland with an opportunity to get forward here. Mabudi. Johnston. Ball back out to Max Johnson. It's a lovely ball round the corner, but it's a good recovery in the end by Owen Beck, and Scotland get the throw. I actually think it's gone Wales' way.
It's absolutely terrific though from Max Johnson. He starts it off by pressing. He's brave enough to go inside the pitch, which is usually quite tricky if you're a full-back or wing-back, but he's brave enough to go and press, and he nicks the ball, starts that move off. Just unlucky just not to get him in behind.
Yeah, smart ball round the corner by Diri Mabudi, just didn't quite come off. Mullen. Johnson goes back to Liam Morrison. Lewis Nielsen making his second appearance for the under-21 side. He was one of the players that didn't feature in Thursday's defeat to Sweden. He gets his chance from the start today. Mullen driving forward from centre-back, and he finds Mabudi. Over to Adam Devine. Mulligan to Johnston. That is what these friendlies are for. Mark has been able to test out these formations, get the players comfortable in different systems and different shapes.
Yeah, you know what, I like the look of it early on, only 6 minutes in, but I like the look of it. I think the players have got to grips with it. No doubt Scott would have used the period from Monday evening to work on this, but they all look comfortable. You know, Morrison, Nielsen and Mullen certainly look comfortable in the ball at the back. You know, you just see the wee problem there with Devine because he's a right footer playing the left side, that when he has space to gallop into, he checks back, but there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're keeping the ball. So I think the players are fitting the formation fine at the minute.
Joel Lowe to Baker. Goes back to Joe Lowe, the man who's at Walsall on loan from Bristol City.
Get it, Matty!
Goes all the way back to Eddie Beach. This was a theme of Thursday night's game as well. Scotland putting that pressure on high up the park.
It's good pressing there from the front too. You see Connor Smith pressing the goalkeeper but making sure he goes one way, which then triggers Mabudi to chase down Baker in the left back position. And that's exactly where you want him. Pressing him high up the pitch, give a throw on the way there and squeeze it again. There we go. Exactly what Scott Gamble would want.
Johnson pass not quite coming off for the Motherwell fullback. It's a decent ball forward as well, but Josh Farrell had strayed offside and the touch wasn't quite there. Scotland starting quickly, getting the ball back in play. Abdullah. Ball won in the midfield by Eli King.
Owen, higher!
Low, Baker. Wales just struggling to find a way out of their own half at the moment. It's due to good play by Scotland.
I was going to say that, Andrew. I think we're set up very, very well. You know, you can see how difficult it is for the Welsh players to pick that pass into the midfield.
Farrell is dropped deep to try and create something. Stevens. King.
Double switching. Nothing through there, double
I think Scott Gemmell will be happy what he's seeing from his players out of possession at the moment. Mabudi putting the pressure on and Scotland winning the ball back. Devine just going back to Kieran Slicker.
Yeah, it's a patient press. Everyone knows what they're doing. Inviting Wales to almost try and fish that in to Josh Farrell on the halfway line, and of course Wee Morrison just there to clean up. And as the campaign goes on, when they face Spain come September, then this is exactly what this team's going to come up against. They're going to have to be patient out of possession and hope that Spain try and feed those little balls in and be ready to intercept and then break. So that's why these training camps and these warm-up games are essential when you've got such a big qualifying campaign ahead.
Well, Devine was looking to be positive there. The ball didn't quite come off as he was going forward towards Connor Smith. Although assessing his options.
Kingy, bounce, Kingy!
Goes over to Baker.
Richie.
Poor touch in there from Josh Farrell. Scotland get the throw. Johnson to take, who is impressed of late since returning from his loan spell to Motherwell. Now a key feature of Stuart Kettlewell's side.
Well, he's been outstanding. His goal against St Mirren, contender for goal of the season. Whether he meant it or not, I'm not too sure, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, having been in the right back club.
Scored in his Scotland under-21 debut as well. That's his third appearance. He scored against Iceland in a friendly in November as the ball looked to be played across by Josh Mulligan, but the offside flag did go up. Will be a free kick to Wales.
Nice play from Smith though, getting out his feet there, nice move. Mulligan pops it off to him, he gets his head up, a lovely little chip ball through. Mulligan just didn't hold his run enough, but promising stuff.
Yeah, Connor Smith, one of the more experienced players at under-21 level. This is his 7th appearance for the 21-year-old. There's Morrison. Smith trying to flick it around the corner, but Wales win it back. King. As well King, but Mullen's there to stop him in his tracks.
It's a plus point about playing a back three. You've got someone like Mullen with that pace at the right side, that when Johnson is beat, Mullen just comes over to make sure he's there to clean up.
Yeah, Jeremiah Mullen, playing his football at Leeds, was actually on the bench for them against Manchester United last month. He plays pretty regularly for their youth side in the Premier League 2. It's an aimless ball forward really from Owen Beck, and Lewis Nielsen just happy to head that back into the hands of Kieran Slicker.
Does well there, because not the easiest to deal with. Slicker starts to come out, balls in the air, bit of wind, striker pressing you. Easy to get those ones wrong. Done it many times myself.
Devine looks forward towards Connor Smith, who actually concedes the throw. He was looking for it himself. Finn Stevens, the Wales captain, to take. Plays his football at Brentford. Gets it back from Hammond. It's over to Baker. Good ball by Colwell. Here's the run of Stevens. Can he find someone in the middle? It's over the head of Josh Farrell, and it's dealt with by Jeremiah Mullen. Max Johnson just happy to get that one as far away from the Scotland box as he can. And Adam Devine winning the free kick.
Clear to see why Colwell's got 8 caps behind him. A couple of times early on in the game, a flick round the corner opened everything up, and just there, that pass in behind Adam Devine, terrific vision. It's one we need to watch this afternoon. You mentioned it at the start, Andrew. Abdullahi, Cole McKinnon need to get close to him.
Well, the heat in Spain just means the players are allowed to take a bit of a water break. Not something we're too accustomed to in our normal climate in Scotland.
Certainly not, but definitely needed with the weather here. It's a beautiful day, bit of breeze, but players taking a well-deserved drink. I think Scott Gale, you know, approaching 15 minutes, will be quite pleased how his team's performed out of possession. We seem to have a good shape, we seem to know when to press, the areas we want to force Wales into before we press. which is all good. But just like I was saying there, when that danger man Colwell gets the ball, when they come up against guys like this going forward, creative players in the Spanish side, then it's about getting big numbers round about them to stop that creativity going the other way.
An opportunity for the Scotland staff just to get their messages across as well, tell the players what they want to see from them as they look to break the deadlock in this game. 15 minutes on the clock in this first half. No real big chances yet from either side. Both teams still sort of feeling this one out so far. There are some notable absentees from this Scotland squad as well from the first game on Thursday night. Josh Doig is one of those. He captained the side on Thursday night, but he's returned to Italy. Of course, a key player for Hellas Verona this season. He's done fantastically well in Serie A. Hayden Hackney, another player who really good in the English Championship for Middlesbrough, started that game on Thursday night. He's headed back to his club as well. Also Kieran Bowie, the Fulham striker on loan at Northampton, started the game on Thursday, not involved in the squad today. But with those players dropping out, gives a good opportunity for other players to come in, make their mark on this under-21 side. Beach to Luca Hull, just has to check back, finds his goalkeeper. Baker to Joe Lowe. Luca Hull, the Bristol Rovers defender, flips one over the top. It looked a good ball initially. I think there is just too much on it though for Finn Stevens, who was trying to make the run in behind Adam Devine.
Yeah, good idea from the Welsh. You know, not putting everything short into their midfield, looking to turn Scotland backline. I do think Adam Devine probably had that covered, but the ball just shot on.
Nielsen is challenged in the midfield by Eli King, but Scotland able to get the ball back quickly. It's been an interesting season for Lewis Nielsen. Was a real regular for Hearts in the early stages of the season. Between August and November, really made 5 appearances in the UEFA Europa Conference League. He's fallen a bit out the team of late. Still only 19 years of age though. Mullen fouled as he tried to progress the ball up the park. Max Johnson wanting to take that one quickly, get play going.
Good play there from Mullen. Not scared to take the ball a run, progress into midfield.
Ball just under the foot of Dire Mabudi. Allows Matt Baker to come away with it. Hammond to Stevens. Across to Joe Lowe. A lot of the ball so far, the 3 central defenders for Wales. It's clipped over the top, it's a really good ball. A chance here for Josh Thomas to try and create something, but just passes it straight to Adam Devine. Mullen forward to Mulligan. Back to Kieran Slicker, one of a few Manchester City players in this Scotland under-21 squad. Of course, Dire Mabudi is one of those. Lewis Fiorini, 2 of them both scoring on Thursday night. Fiorini on the bench for this game today.
Got to say about those goals, sensational goals. I mean, the first one from Mabudi was good. I didn't think we were going to top that. And Fiorini, outstanding volley, showing outstanding technique.
That one set up by Josh Adam, another playing his football in the Manchester City Academy for the elite development squad.
Get a good mix when you look through the squad. And the clubs represented and the players out on loan, we have got a good mix. You know, some players at top English Premier League clubs, but then some in our Scottish Premiership as well, who are performing week in, week out. It's exactly what you need, I think, to be successful as an under-21 side.
Smith, lovely turn from Smith, finds Mabudi, just knocks the ball past. Great pace by Mabudi, and he wins a corner. He's just showing the danger he can cause, Mabudi, with that speed.
Oh, he does brilliant there. Because initially I thought Baker was favourite to get there. Mabudi just clips it round him. I actually thought he was getting closer and closer to the touchline. He may have ran it out. Just shows how quick he is. Does terrific to get a corner. Good chance this for us.
Connor Smith to take. Goes towards the back post. Morrison competing for it, and there was the strike from Cole McKinnon. Didn't quite catch it properly.
Thought we were in for another Fiorini there from a corner kick. Comes to the edge. Cole McKinnon in a good position. Just didn't quite catch it clean enough.
Looking for his first under-21 goal. He does have 3 this season for Partick Thistle. He's on loan from Rangers. Mabudi. Johnston. Josh Mulligan. Does well to get the cross in, Mulligan. There's Devine. Touch is too heavy from Connor Smith, who's unable to win it back as well. Possibly will provide Wales a chance to create something of their own, but once again Scotland pressing really well, forcing Wales back towards their centre backs.
That was a decent opportunity there we had. Thought when it fell to Adam Devine, he does well. He's on his right foot. Probably the plus side of playing a right footer in that position, that he's coming in. He picks a good pass. Connor Smith just couldn't sort his feet out in time.
It's a nice turn by Caldwell. Looks for the ball towards Ollie Hammond, but it's too close to Kieran Slicker, who'll gather.
Good positioning from Kieran Slicker, because if he's rooted to his goal line there, I don't think he's getting there, and I think it's Josh Thoms maybe would have been favourite for that. A good pick out from Colwell, but Kieran Slicker ready, taking his position from about the penalty spot there.
Ruben Caldwell was actually part of Wales' World Cup squad for Qatar last year. Came off the bench in their group game against England, so it shows some of the quality that Wales have in this squad. Forward, Adam Devine just unable to get it under his control. Almost goes back to Stevens and then all the way back to Luca Hull. There may be a bit of frustration from Wales that they're unable to progress the ball when they've got it, passing it around the back three. Forced to go long. Scott Game will be happy that they're forcing Wales to do that.
As I said earlier, Andrew, that's obviously something that the Scotland side have worked on, allowing the 3 centre backs to have possession, no real urgency to go and press, and forcing them to go long because they know they have the pace of Mullen, Nielsen and Morrison at the back to cover it up.
The players are certainly going to be hydrated.
Yeah. I was only 10 minutes ago they had that drink, so an important side of the game.
Yeah, I think it just does show the heat in Pinatar, and of course it is a friendly match as well, so no issues with these stoppages.
It's more for the referees and his assistants. They look like they're needing it more than the players.
A lovely setting as well in Pinatar. It's somewhere that the Scotland youth national teams have visited before. Played a couple of games in this camp. The players have been out there certainly enjoying themselves as well. We saw the VT, the interview before with Dire Mabudi, who looks as if it's been a real valuable trip for him and all these players.
Oh, without doubt. Absolutely fantastic setting. Beautiful weather. Allows you to spend a wee bit more time on the training ground. But these get-togethers, these friendly matches, these camps when you go away are essential for a squad to bond, especially at this young formative age where a lot of players are coming in unknown who perhaps don't know each other, and they get to spend a full week in each other's company. Now, I'll keep coming back to it when you've got a European qualifying campaign coming around the corner in September, then it's important once you get to that stage that the full squad knows each other inside out. So they're absolutely invaluable to have, and I think we've made full use of it. Scott Gemmell obviously calling up some players that maybe represented the under-19s and giving them a go and seeing what they're really made of, coming up against more experienced players like Ruben Colwell today, you mentioned, in the World Cup. Fantastic experience for these young guys to get a shot at players like that, so going well so far.
Yeah, these Scotland players looking to catch the eye ahead of the Euro qualifiers later this year. Some big opposition as well in Scotland's group, the likes of Spain, Belgium, Hungary and Malta also in that group alongside Kazakhstan. So plenty of challenges for this under-21 side ahead.
The easiest draw, was it, Andrew? I think it could have been a bit kinder to us. Spain and Belgium in there. Had my games against Hungary in the past at this level. Funny enough, an incredibly difficult place to go to. So the young Scots know what they'll be facing.
The Welsh under-21 side have been in action already in this international break as well. They had a 2-0 win over Colombia's youth side. Max Johnson to take the throw in. Azim Abdullahi, the turn goes back to Morrison.
I'm sure for Scotland, Abdullahi, Cole McKinnon would, be a bit frustrated 25, 26 minutes in that they haven't been involved enough. Abdullahi, you can see making all the right angles to try and get the ball, but we need to find them.
Colwell. Back to Stevens. Jeremiah Mullen in the right position in the box to head it away. There's Josh Mulligan. Does win the free kick, Josh Mulligan.
Good play from Mulligan there. Powerful runner from midfield. Just showing that he's comfortable taking the ball there, tight areas, try to wriggle away.
Plenty of experience at the age of 20, Josh Mulligan. He's already made over 50 appearances for Dundee, had loan spells at Peterhead, Cove, Rangers as well.
Try to stein him, Andrew. My brief stint as Brecon manager on loan, and it just didn't get through. But he's well aware of his talents early on, good couple of years ago. Terrific young player.
Stevens goes all the way back to Eddie Beach. Low to Colwell. On the turn, plays it forward towards Josh Farrell. Cuts inside. Will he get a shot away? Josh Farrell, he will. It's saved by Kieran Slicker, but the ball will go over the line. It's a goal for Wales. They've got the opener, and it's Josh Farrell who's scored it. It was messy in the end. Kieran Slicker tried his best, but just couldn't keep it out.
Hugely disappointing, but you just see the importance of Ruben Colwell getting the ball in the half turn comfortable. He plays a lovely ball down the channel. Josh Farrell initially cuts inside Mullen. He gets the shot away. I thought Slicker had done enough. I don't know if it's Josh Farrell, is it Josh Thomas that gets the final touch? Maybe it went over the line. Disappointing to lose a goal just before the half-hour mark. Something out of nothing, really.
Yeah, well, Ruben Colwell showing his quality in the lead up to that goal. It was a good ball through to Josh Farrell, and I'm sure he'll be claiming it, but I think Josh Thomas will also be claiming it. Maybe got a touch on the line as well. But either way, it is a goal. Wales have the lead here in Pinatar against Scotland.
I was just saying, Andrew, though, the importance of our young players coming up against someone more experienced than Ruben Colwell, and what they're going to experience going forward through this campaign when they come up against similar quality. That if you give these players Colwell's ability and experience, that space, that extra little 5 yards, he will turn and he will look forward. Now if you've got willing runners ahead, he is able to pick them out. So this is what these matches, these friendly matches are all about. Getting experience, realising that you need to be touch tight on these players when there's so much quality.
Ball towards Josh Farrell is just over hit. So when we look at this Scotland side, there are a lot of young players that are getting their first taste of under-21 football, players that will still be eligible for the under-21s for a couple of years to come. They fouled there, will be a free kick to Scotland.
Well, it's another little test for our players. One behind. You know, how do they react to that? Are they brave enough to still play the way they've been playing, the way that they've been instructed by Scott Gemo? Or it's quite often we've seen it, even when you go up the levels, that teams, as soon as they lose a goal, they lose their heads a bit and they start playing the way that the players want to play. It's important we stick to the game plan.
As well won by Ollie Hammond in midfield there. It's allowed Wales to go forward. Farrell kicking inside as he did moments ago for the Wales goal. Scotland deal with it this time. Connor Smith making a nuisance of himself, but judged to have fouled Joe Lowe at the back.
It's good pressing from Connor Smith. Could have done with someone else, maybe Mabudi up a wee bit closer to him, making up the ground a wee bit quicker.
Well, he is in good form at club level, Connor Smith. Joined Hamilton on loan in January, 3 goals in 7 games. Hull. Finn Stevens. Big thing is how the Scotland players react to going a goal down.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's just been a little ill for the last couple of minutes from the Scotland players. You know, just a bit standoffish, and it's always dangerous doing that.
Baker to Lowe. Luca Hull. He's the captain, Finn Stevens. He is again, and looks for the ball forward towards Colwell, who battles well against Liam Morrison, cuts it back into a crowded box. Finn Stevens did get the shot away, but Scotland had the numbers to deal with it.
I think Morrison thought it was just going to run out, and he tries to protect it, but the ball just held up. Colwell didn't give up on it. Little step over, but Scotland had enough bodies in that area just to block it out. But this is a crucial period in the game for us now, Andrew, that we don't start retreating and giving the Welsh too much space. You can see what that goal's done for their side. Everybody's wanting on the ball, everybody's looking to get involved now.
Wales just happy to retain possession at the moment.
Love it.
Eli King goes back to Luca Hull.
Stand still, Ruben.
Here the instructions as well from the two coaches. There was an offside there. Josh Thomas just straying beyond. Abdullahi. Nielsen squeezed one out. It's just not got enough on it. Owen Beck able to head it out of play. See again, this was good play by Ruben Colwell, but Adam Devine got in there, and a mix of a few Scotland players, Morrison and Devine, who blocked the shot initially.
I think it was Adam Devine twice here. It's an important part of a game when you're playing wing back, to get in one box, but also to not neglect your defensive duties. He does well there to block out the shot.
Josh.
Colwell finds Ollie Hammond. Stevens goes for the early cross. Isn't able to find a white shirt in there.
I think as the game's wearing on, you can clearly see that the Welsh midfield three, and Colwell at the tip of that, are certainly getting the lion's share of possession in the middle of the pitch. You know, Abdullahi, Mulligan and Cole McKinnon starved the possession. I'd like to see them get on the ball a lot more than they have been doing at the minute.
Stand up, John.
It's good play by Mullen. Babudi trying to flick it over the head of Owen Beck. I think he stood on his foot there as he tried to get past. Morrison just a bit frustrated he wasn't able to keep that one in play. He has impressed those at his club Bayern Munich though. Signed a new contract a few weeks ago through to the summer of 2025. Has been playing for their second side to compete in the fourth tier of German football. 12 appearances this season. Got a goal to his name as well.
It's brilliant to see that our young players, you know, doing well on the continent. Such a prestigious club. You think of the youth products that Bayern's brought through throughout the years, and there's one of your boys matching them in every way.
He's not the only one as well. Barry Hepburn, young Scottish winger, is at Bayern Munich as well. Was playing for Scotland's under-19s towards the end of last year. Both players joining from Celtic at a young age. Nielsen looks towards Connor Smith. It's a good ball as well, and Smith holding it up, just unable to find Adam Devine with a pass. Nielsen gets it back, goes over the top once again, this time unable to find Josh Mulligan, who was advancing into the box.
I think the first ball from Nielsen's a good one. He recognises again that not everything has to be short. They can turn and go in behind, especially with Connor Smith's pace. It's a good run. The second one is a hard one to play for Nielsen because he's at 15 to 20 yards further up the pitch. Space in behind's limited. That's the one he needs to just keep short, get it into a striker.
Chance here for Josh Thomas. It's Ollie Hammond, and he curls one, and at the back post was Ruben Colwell. He keeps it in play, and Max Johnson just has to deal with that one, put it out for a corner. More danger from Wales there.
Well, we're just caught wide open there. One ball round the corner. Adam Devine and Lewis Nielsen caught out. You know, all three centre backs retreating towards their goal. Colwell just can't turn it towards goal. Johnson does well just to turn it behind.
Scotland have a corner to deal with now. Towards the back post, but it's well held by Kieran Slicker.
He does terrific there. That's a tough one to take. How many times do we see goalkeepers choosing just to punch that? And it often falls to someone at the edge of the box, but Slicker confident enough to get up and catch that there.
He's got good competition. Kieran Slicker in this under-21 side. Murray Johnson, who really impressed for the under-19s towards the end of last year, and also at an emergency loan spell at Airdrie at the start of the campaign, where he made 5 appearances, only conceded twice, 3 clean sheets in that as well, just 18 years old. And also Jack Newman, who has made a couple of appearances for Dundee United recently. Goalkeeping position has been a hot topic for Scotland recently. Angus Gunn, of course, making his Scotland debut yesterday, keeping a clean sheet for the senior side in that 3-0 win over Cyprus. A successful start to the Euro 2024 qualification campaign.
Yeah, he'll be pleased with that. Such an important position for the A squad. Didn't have much to do, but anything he did it quite well.
The senior side, of course, hosting Spain on Tuesday night. The under-21s will be playing Spain in their own qualification group later on this year. Oh, played round the back, and Josh Thomas gets away from Liam Morrison. He's not got much in the way of support, and it's Lewis Nielsen who's back there to put it out for a corner.
Well done, Lewis Nielsen. Makes up the ground really quick. Recognises that his skipper Morrison's under a wee bit of pressure from the pace of Josh Thomas. He's just trying to feed that across Thomas, across the 6-yard line, but Nielsen does well to recover.
Yeah, Came through the youth academy at Dundee United, Lewis Nielsen, before making the move to Hearts last summer. 19 appearances he made for Dundee United before heading to Tynecastle.
Yeah, United had high hopes for him. Just obviously didn't offer him the right contract, unfortunately for them.
Ball goes into the front post and it goes all the way through. And Wales have a second. And I think it was a flick-on header at the front post. And it goes past Kieran Slicker. I think it was Luca Houle that got the final touch for Wales. They've doubled their lead in Pinatar.
Well, this one will disappoint Scott Gemmell because it's as basic as they come. Corner kick. Max Johnson in that front post area, just on the 6-yard line. That's where you want your defender to be, to head that away. But Luca Houle, or was it Joe Lowe perhaps, getting across, getting in front of Max Johnson, just diverting it in.
Yeah, I think it was Joe Lowe that got the final touch. He has seen a lot of the ball so far. The man that's playing as the central centre-back in the 3 for Wales. He was arriving at the front post, got the vital touch. And a good time to score for Wales as well, with just 5 minutes left of this first half.
Just shows the importance of that front post position. I mean, we see it, you know, and from the top levels of the game, every team will put a player in that position. And you have to be in the half turn, Andrew, to see what's coming. So a couple of problems, whoever's matching. Joe Lowe has to do better at blocking them. But if he doesn't do that, that's where Max Johnson should come in and just clear that away. Disappointing goal to lose. Set pieces at this level are so crucial.
Paul McKinnon not giving that one up. It's headed forward by Ollie Hammond, but Abdullahi finds Connor Smith, who's fouled there. Surely will be a free kick to Scotland in a dangerous position.
Yeah, he manages to wriggle clear there. Good footwork. Nips it round one defender, takes it from the other. Pretty clear that that's a free kick. Still on the ground, hopefully he's okay. But look, an opportunity for us to try and test Ed Beach in goal, who's hardly had a touch of the ball, hardly seen anything of him. I think that'll be a thing that disappoints Scott Gemmell, that with all the promise of those attacking players we have there, but never really tested the goalkeeper.
Deary Mabudi standing over it. Cole McKinnon there as well. All 3 central defenders up for this one as well.
You would have a go here, surely. Short run up.
He scored a cracker on Thursday night, Deary Mabudi. Does he fancy a chance at another here? So he goes short to Abdullahi, who clips it in towards the back post. There's Jeremiah Mullen. It looked to be one off the training ground from Scotland, but the header across from Jeremiah Mullen wasn't able to find anyone, and luckily for Scotland, the touch from Josh Thomas was too heavy there.
Yeah, it looked like one he had worked on. Just didn't quite get that final ball right. A decent idea. And Josh Mullen round the back. Ball just had to be a wee bit better, hung up a wee bit more. I would have liked to have seen Moody just have a go from there. Like I was saying, we've not tested Beach in the Welsh goal. You're maybe 22 yards out on the angle. Difficult angle, right enough, but have a go. Test the goalkeeper.
Stay away from the ball.
Jeremiah Mullen was a regular at under 19 level as well. Made 5 appearances for them before making a step up. Still only 18 years old. He's a young player at this under 21 level. Abdullahi's gone down holding his head, but the free kick has gone against Scotland. Interesting story, his development. Azim Abdullahi, who came through the academy at Celtic, was released at the age of 16. He'd been a ball boy there as well, and during lockdown and COVID struggled to find a club, had trials, went to Brentford, Wimbledon, ended up getting a 6-month deal with Leicester, and that really kicked on his career. Now at Swansea, made his debut for them in the EFL Cup as a substitute against Oxford.
That's a great story. You know, just showing the determination of the boy not to give up when he's faced with rejection. I think that's an important part of a player's development. What young aspiring footballers can look up to that.
There's a big move for him to go down to England. Josh Mulligan just pulled back for a foul there.
Ruben, Matty could do that, a little bit higher. I'll do.
Well, it looks as if Wales will go into half-time with a 2-goal lead in this game. Scott Gemmell will be hoping Scotland can show a bit more in the final third in the second half, but Wales will look to see if they can get a third before the break. Adam Devine deals with that one.
Again, it's Colwell there, just getting 5 yards of space, getting out his feet, using his ability to pick out the big diagonal to Finn Stevens.
It's a nice turn there by Josh Thomas to keep possession. Here is again Thomas, but Scotland end up winning the free kick. Take it quickly, Abdullahi. Just bypasses Dire Mabudi. Maybe hasn't seen as much of the ball as he would have liked so far in this game. Dropping deep to win that back, and Josh Mulligan does just that. Abdullahi. Lovely ball towards Cole McKinnon. Really good shape on it. Pick out his midfield partner. It's back to Abdullahi. There will just be a bit of added time in this first half because we have had a couple of water breaks in the heat of Pinatar. Liam Morrison looking to play that one out to the left, but didn't quite get it right.
I think that's a big difference between the two sides. As the halves wore on, that in possession, Wales probably, definitely should I say, more productive. No, Scotland frustrated them in the early period with their shape, but they found a way. We are just getting a wee bit desperate with balls like that from Liam Morrison. We just need to have that wee bit more quality to trouble the Welsh defence.
Eddie Beach to take the goal kick. And that will be half time. The whistle blows and Wales have the advantage after the opening 45 minutes. It has been an interesting game so far. Scotland, of course, trying this 3 at the back, which isn't too familiar for a lot of these on Thursday night. He's stripped and ready to come on, and I think Lewis Fiorini is also going to come on as well, and there is going to be a change in goal as well. Looks as if Kieran Slicker will be making way, and there will be an under-21 debut for 18-year-old Hibs goalkeeper Murray Johnson, who was one of the players that really impressed in that under-19 squad towards the end of last year. Dire Mabudi was in there as well. He was one of the players. Josh Adam, who is on the bench for Scotland today, another player who looked really good across those 3 games. But another step in Murray Johnson's career, making his under-21 debut. And as I say, Lewis Fiorini, the Manchester City midfielder, coming on, as well as Ben Summers. So Scott Gemmell deciding that he wants to make a change, and these players will be looking to make an impact in this second 45 minutes.
Yeah, looking forward to certainly seeing the 3 that came on. Lewis Fiorini scoring a terrific goal there the other night. Ben Summers, a lot of talk about him. Young player who's been well spoke about in the past. So we've got 45 minutes here, good opportunity to bring Scotland back into this game. See Ben Summers going right up top there alongside Dire Mabudi. Maybe a change of shape as well.
Yeah, it looks as if Lewis Fiorini and Ben Summers will be in support of Dire Mabudi up front. Connor Smith, one of the players to make way for Scotland at half time.
Come on, boys,
Abdullahi.
come on! Move! Move!
Cole McKinnon, the other player to make way. Those are 3 changes for Scotland.
Yeah, interesting to see, Andrew, that the shape also changes with that. I wonder if that was always the plan from Scott Gemmell, and that wouldn't be unusual for managers to try one shape out in the first 45 minutes. Maybe it didn't work quite as well as he would like to, but looks like he's going to his tried and trusted, the one he always goes to. Fiorini one side, Ben Summers the other, Mabudi through the middle. Looks already, I know we're only a minute and a half in, but already looks a shape that's better suited to these players. You can already see how closely Fiorini and Summers are going to play to Mabudi. Both strikers a wee bit isolated in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, no natural number 9 on the pitch for Scotland so far in this game. Kieran Bowie, who played in that role on Thursday night, has gone back to his club. And there is Tom Dixon-Peters on the bench as well, who may well get a run out. He came off the bench in that defeat to Sweden. Devine to take the throw. Here's Fiorini, look for the first time ball, but he actually wins it back. Fiorini does well, looking lively in the opening stages of this second half. Here he is again. Johnson, Summers. Mulligan goes back to Lewis Nielsen. Devine trying to get past Ben Stevens there, but stopped in his tracks.
I like that from Devine though. Gets the ball, he's up against Stevens, he looks to go past him. Doesn't quite get there though.
Thomas. 3 Scotland players around him. The pressure's enough to put him off.
I think the problem is if we go to a 3-4-3, I think defensively then you give up that one in midfield. And obviously Ruben Caldwell dictated much of the first period, so we just need to be aware that Fiorini or Summers has to maybe drop in to pick him up if he's the deeper line one in the midfield, try to dictate play.
Certainly valuable game time for Lewis Fiorini as well. He went on loan to Blackpool from Manchester City at the start of this season. Actually had a good start to the campaign, but has been halted by a groin injury, just getting back into things now. We saw quality he's capable of with that volley on Thursday. The ball drops to Ruben Caldwell, and that one just going wide of Murray Johnson's goal. Lipstopper
well done.
having to make a move, but that one just drifting past his left post.
I thought it was in, Andrew. He just tries to guide that inside the post there, just inches past Scotland again. Caught a wee bit cold, the ball in behind Devine. He didn't have Lewis Nielsen over covering, so it was a foot race between him and Stevens. Stevens does well to pick out Caldwell. The big midfielder unlucky with the effort. Just a warning sign again.
Jeremiah Mullen trying to find Diri Mabudi, but the ball goes all the way through. It's a nice touch inside by Finn Stevens. The ball clear forward to Josh Thomas. Here's Ollie Hammond. Abdullahi quite believe that the free kick's been given against him.
Get you the ball, mate.
No, I'm with him there. So Abdullahi, good pressure. Looks to nick it there. Maybe at the end. Maybe at the end he just used his body a bit too much.
And Wales get a third. It's Josh Thomas on the score sheet. And it's not been Scotland's day so far. Ball came through to Ruben Caldwell. A lovely ball across the face of goal with the outside of his boot. And there was Josh Thomas to stroke it home. But once again, it's the quality of Ruben Caldwell that's opened Scotland up.
Well, how disappointing is that? Just at the start of the second half. Different personnel on, different shape, but we're caught cold again. I think it might be Josh Mulligan who doesn't track Ruben Caldwell, but you can see the quality. Caldwell just looks up outside of the boot, plays it across.
Good free kick, mate.
Thomas is there to put it away.
Switches on again.
So
Let's go.
hugely disappointing. Young players need to pick themselves up here, shake themselves down, go at it again. But it just shows the importance of runners, matching runners. As you can see, Caldwell willing to go in behind these strikers, and Mulligan just switches off for a second. That's experience that you will get from playing against players such as Caldwell this afternoon.
Yeah, big test of character for these Scotland players now, because Scott Gemmell will be keen to make sure their heads don't go down, that they keep on trying to play their football and work their way back into this game. Will be a level of frustration though.
I think the frustration for Scott Gemmell when he probably sits down and analyses the goals that we've lost this afternoon is just the sheer simplicity of them. You know, the first one, a run in behind and a long ball, we were caught cold. The second one, a set piece that seemed pretty simple to defend against, and then that third one, right at the start of the second half, where you're looking for players to match runners and, you know, take wheels the other way, we just switch off. So, real simple goals that we've lost this afternoon.
We did say it is a new system for the Scotland under-21 side, so there'll sometimes be teething issues when a new system is being tried out. Fiorini looked for the ball over the top, and Thierry Mabudi wasn't far away from getting a foot on it.
It was almost outstanding there. You could just see Fiorini's quality right away. He's always looking forward. He almost gets it inch perfect. And Mabudi just playing off the shoulder. Joe Lowe there almost gets a touch in it. So unlucky.
He's a real creative force, Lewis Fiorini. Goal scorer as well. He's got 2 in 6 Scotland under-21 caps. First of those came in November 2021 against Kazakhstan. Of course, that special strike right at the end of Thursday night's game. Morrison to Nielsen.
Come out with the ball. Good.
Thomas goes back to Poole.
Needs you, Josh.
Matt Baker goes all the way back to Eddie Beach. Goalkeeper playing his football for Chelmsford at the moment, on loan from Chelsea. Scotland winning it back. Fiorini. He's getting his head up, looking for that pass. Summers with a first-time ball, looking to see if he could release Josh Mulligan. It's a nice idea. Caldwell. That's good play by Owen Beck. It's through for Caldwell. Has a step over. There's Josh Thomas. It's a really good recovery by Jeremiah Mullen, because Josh Thomas, I think he thought he was going to get a clear shot at goal there, but Jeremiah Mullen was quick to react, got back in position.
Yeah, I think we get away with one again here. Again, it's that man Caldwell recognises where the space is. He's so clever in and around the box. He picks his pass. Jeremiah Mullen does well to make the recovery, but plug those gaps much better than we are doing at the minute.
Put that Luca back in.
Murray Johnson just finding Liam Morrison there. I think it says a lot for Murray Johnson that Hibs at the start of this season were willing to loan him out, an emergency loan to Airdrie at the age of 17. You don't often see goalkeepers go on loan at that age, but Hibs see a lot of promise in him. Certainly rated very highly by those at Easter Road and those at his short time at Airdrie as well. Mulligan looking for that run of Max Johnson. Pass just overhit.
Yeah, it's been frustrating for the young Scots going forward. Just when they win the ball there, Mulligan just needs to be a wee bit better in possession. Tries to feed in Johnson. It's a good run. Execution, not what was required.
Well, there is going to be a change for Wales. On comes Zach Ashworth. Scotland going to make a change as well. A couple of changes. It is Tom Dixon-Peters is ready to come on. will be Ryan Duncan, the Aberdeen man. Will also come on. Dire Mabudi will make way. Tom Dixon-Peters. It's going to be Azim Abdallah. Comes off for Ryan Duncan.
Well, Mavidi, I think he'll be frustrated. He started brightly, but he's still got 56 minutes under his belt. Second cap.
Get it, Luca!
He's one that can be proud of his performances over the 2 games, I think. Especially the first one where he scores an outstanding goal, and I think we'll see bright things from him in the future. Abdallah probably a bit frustrated, like I was saying in the first half. Scotland midfield struggled to get on the ball, get in possession, so there'll be probably better days for him. But good opportunity now. Ryan Duncan coming on, impressed at Aberdeen this season. Dixon-Peters, more of a front man, I feel.
Yeah, he will be the focal point of this Scotland side for the remaining 33 minutes or so.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Mabudi before the game saying where he prefers to play, and it's certainly off the wide areas today. He occupied more of a front man role through the middle. I just wonder if Peters coming on prove more of a focal point, someone who's used to playing in that area rather than off a wide area.
Play quickly!
Free kick will go the way of Wales. It's a Scotland under-21 debut for Ryan Duncan.
Go on, Zach. Go on, Zach.
He has made 16 appearances in the Scottish Premiership this season for Aberdeen. He's played all of their last 4 games as well. A couple of goals to his name this campaign too.
Yeah, it really has been one that's caught the eye this year. You always keep your eye open for young players breaking through, and to break through at a club like Aberdeen is never easy. As you say there, Andrew, getting plenty of game time shows what firstly Jim Goodwin thought of him and Barry Robson.
Made his Aberdeen debut a good while ago now, at a young age, November 2020. It's a substitute against Rangers at Ibrox.
Stand still, Al.
Colwell managing to keep possession under pressure. Eventually Max Johnson gets the ball off him. Of course, Max Johnson from a footballing family. His dad, Alan Johnson, 18 senior caps for Scotland.
He was an outstanding player in his time, Alan. May have came up against him latterly in his career, early on in mine's. Still gave me a torrid time, I'm sure.
Duncan goes back to Liam Morrison. Wearing the armband today, Liam Morrison. It was Josh Doig who wore the armband on Thursday night. Beach decides to go along with that one as the wind started to pick up in Pinatar. Duncan down to Fiorini for the run of Tom Dixon-Peters.
Luca, gotta get us up again. Too many cuts.
Dixon-Peters made his under-21 debut, one of the few players that made their debut in November 2020 in that friendly against Iceland. Plays his football at Norwich, but he's on loan at Grimsby at the moment. Actually got a goal in his debut against Crewe in February.
Tell you what, he's a big lad. You need to utilise that. Maybe a bit like the senior squad, the way we use Shea Adams and Lyndon Dykes. Lyndon Dykes came on yesterday showing how important that is to use your body when you are the focal point of the front line. The young man Dixon-Peters will do well to look at that and try to emulate something along those lines. But we need to get service to him, and I think that's been the problem this afternoon, Andrew, for our front players. The service to them hasn't quite been there. We've never really had anything to get a hold of.
Morrison to Lewis Nielsen.
Good, well done.
So the ball over the top towards Tom Dixon-Peters. He's quite keen to be proactive from centre-back Lewis Nielsen in this game so far, always looking whether it's a ball over the top, pass into midfield, or a driving run from that back three.
Yeah, always looking forward. It's a good trait to have as a centre-back, particularly if you're playing part of a back three. If you're playing either the right one or the left one of that back three, then the emphasis is on you to drive forward and pick passes out. Nielsen's never been shy this afternoon.
We saw that from Ryan Porteous yesterday, just his second senior cap. Very comfortable in taking the ball out from the back. It's the type of thing that Steve Clarke will be looking at for these under-21 players, because we want to see if they're comfortable in the system that he plays.
Yeah, that's much better pressing from Scotland.
Dixon-Peters on the turn, goes for goal, didn't quite catch it right on the turn. Beach just able to get that one away with his feet.
Come on, switch on, 2v1.
Well, he's only been on for a couple of minutes and already he's used his body, like I was saying a few moments ago, to turn low and get a shot away, and it's the first save that Beach has had to make.
Come on, Owen.
Good from Mullen. Just track the flight of the ball. Fiorini dropping deep, looking the ball over towards Max Johnson.
Someone turned that wind up in this half because it didn't seem to be playing a part in the second half. I actually thought that was a good ball there from Fiorini, but you just see a gust picking up and taking out. Just seen Dixon-Peters there. Good use of the body, gets the arm out, feels low behind him, rolls him, manages to get his shot away. Beach saves low with his feet. But much better. That came from Scotland pressing Wales, you know, going after them in the corner, forcing them into conceding a throw in. And we get the shot on target from that.
Pressure applied by Lewis Nielsen, but it is a foul on Josh Thomas.
Never a foul in a million years, that. I think Nielsen does well. He's brave as a centre-back, goes all the way in.
Come on, Kingy.
I think Josh Thomas just goes down very easily there, buys that one.
King. It's out to Baker. Fiorini weighing it back for Scotland. Good feet by Fiorini, just for Max Johnson over the top. See, every time Lewis Fiorini gets in the ball, he's wanting to create. First time ball over the top there to Tom Dixon-Peters. It was accurate, but it was a tough one for Dixon-Peters to try and get anything goalward.
It's a great effort. Looked like a magnificent ball there. Maybe the wind just caught it, but you're right, Andrew. You see Fiorini when he comes on, always looking positive, always looking forward. Great technical ability.
Hammond looks forward, but goes to Morrison. Here's Nielsen. Playing back to Nielsen.
Tight!
Does well to not only create the space, but get the ball into the feet of Tom Dixon-Peters, but just a mix-up in communication between him and Ryan Duncan, the two substitutes. Stevens. Colwell flicks it round the corner, does really well to find Finn Stevens. And another chance here, Josh Farrell's shot blocked. And Wales not happy with 3, they're looking for another. Scotland will have a chance to maybe put this one towards the Wales box for the free kick, but it's a lovely flick round the corner here from Ruben Colwell.
Terrific flick. But this time we've got enough bodies back. It's Nielsen, is it? It gets the block, and then Duncan does well to work it up to Dixon-Peters, who wins the foul. Good pass that.
Summers. Fiorini. Oh, it's Ryan Duncan actually goes for goal. That one actually took a deflection. Scotland do get the corner out of it.
Much better though, quick thinking. Quick ball into Ben Summers, he looks forward. Effort just deflected wide. We've got a corner kick. Delivery's got to be better than the corner kick we had in the first half, where it was a wee bit floaty. I'd like to see this going at pace.
Well, one Scottish Premiership goal this season for Ryan Duncan, scored against Livingston. Also got one in the League Cup in October against Partick Thistle. Looking to open his account for Scotland under 21s. Fiorini hits the corner, goes towards Ben Summers. Didn't quite catch it correctly. He's looking to aim the ball goalwards. Fiorini, who looked to deliver that first time on the volley. It's a lovely couple of touches there. A fantastic challenge by Ben Summers. Play will go on. Hammond to Stevens. He'll deliver. And the header by Josh Thomas. He's never threatening Murray Johnson in the Scotland goal.
Not sure how much Ben Summers would have thanked you for that corner from Fiorini just moments ago, though. I mean, he's just at the edge of the box here. I don't think he's paying much attention, and Fiorini tries to just chip it to him. The wind whistling. It was a hard one for the young man to take.
Vine's ball deflects into a crowded area. Here's Ruben Colwell, goes for the strike, blocked by Jeremiah Mullen. Goes back to Joe Lowe. Poole to Hammond. Morrison will deal with it. Hammond heads it forward. Lewis Nielsen opts to go back to Murray Johnson. Just looking for the run of Max Johnson there, who put a hand up in appreciation of the idea of what Murray Johnson was trying to do.
I think the problem we've faced this afternoon, or one of them, is, you know, experimenting with that back three, and see, it takes a lot to get back three right, particularly if you're not used to playing it. So, you know, for Liam Morrison and Mullen and Nielsen at times, not quite sure when to engage and when to step out. And that uncertainty, I think, is fed into the midfield areas and who's picking up runners, and that's been a problem that I think Colwell has exposed, particularly a player of his ability. That's why we've found ourselves up against it for large periods of this game.
See Scott Gemmell and the staff using this water break just to get some more messages across to his players. Just over 20 minutes left on the clock in this game, and he'll be hoping that they can show some signs of promise in this final game of this international camp. You can see how warm it is as well. Max Johnson just getting a cold towel there to cool him down. What is a warm day in Pinatar.
Yeah, we also have to remember that, what it takes out of the players. Never easy playing in hot conditions. I was never a fan of it myself, to be honest. Feel drained quite early on, so young players having to put up with that, of course, as well. And they're playing against a Welsh side here who have settled into their patterns of play, been dictated by the man in the middle of the pitch. So it's been a tough afternoon so far for them, but one that they will learn from. You play games like these, even in defeat, you learn a lot about your players, a lot about your system, what works, what doesn't work. I'm sure Scott Gemmell will assess it afterwards and sit down with his staff, and he'll pick positives, but he'll also see where things went wrong and what they can improve on come September.
Yeah, certainly a valuable experience for these young players. Big fixtures coming up towards the end of the year, as you said, and those qualification games, the likes of Spain, Belgium, huge games for these players, testing themselves against some of the best young talent in Europe.
Well, it's a terrific experience. I was briefly looking back on some of my own under-21 appearances and seeing some of the names that I came up against at that period in time that you never knew where they would go to at that time, but guys like Benzema and Lloris, and I wonder what they ever did in their career at international level.
I think they're sitting back wondering what happened to Mark Wilson.
I'm pretty sure you're thinking that most weekends. But it just shows you the level that when you come up against it is the cream of the crop of each country you're coming up against, and that can only make you better as a player. So for the young ones who are getting selected for the first time in this trip, or the more experienced ones like Fiorini and Liam Morrison, then you're coming up against the best in your category. So valuable, very valuable experiences when you go away with the Scotland under-21 side.
A couple of changes for Wales. Joe Taylor coming on, the Luton Town striker. Jaden Raymond also making his way onto the pitch. The 19-year-old plays his football for Crystal Palace. Mulligan. Mullen, here's Max Johnston. That ball into the box. It's headed away. Scotland will have the throw, and Max Johnston will take.
I think Johnson was just looking for perhaps someone to bounce it off of, someone to just stand maybe at the corner of the box there to feed it into.
Johnson goes back to Liam Morrison. Nielsen. Ben Summers had to get creative to try and get that under control, but Jaden Raymond is the one that comes away with it. Full. We saw when Scotland were 3-1 down on Thursday, they didn't give up, they got a late goal, they kept on pushing to try and close that deficit. That's the type of attitude that Scott Gemmell will be looking for from his players today, to fight right to the end of this match, see if they can take something away from this game.
Yeah, important that. So you learn a lot about your players in defeat also.
Raymond with a strike, that one just wide of the mark. And it actually took a neck on the way past as well. First involvement for Jaden Raymond.
I think that's a great save there from Murray Johnson. If I'm right, I think he gets a touch, but again it just all opens up. Space is too big. It's a good effort and goal. Murray Johnson just tips it round, because no doubt in my mind that was settling in the bottom corner to make it 4.
Yeah, the first big involvement for Murray Johnson at under 21 level for Scotland. Stopping that one from going into the bottom corner. Signed a new deal at Hibs recently, and really is their number 2 goalkeeper now, is on the bench for them regularly. And not a bad player to learn from, and David Marshall ahead of him.
Not bad that, is it? Having David to look up to and train with every day. Knows the youth setup at Scotland well, knows the full squad setup well. Sure, Murray will learn a lot from him.
Mullen to Johnston, back to Mullen. Here is Murray Johnston. Mullen just assessing his options, looking for movement ahead of him. Johnson goes over the top, Ryan Duncan will chase. Here's Hull. Ball played forward. It's a really good ball forward towards Ollie Hammond, who's got Raymond in support, but it's too far ahead of the Crystal Palace man. There was just one ball over the top that unlocked the Scotland defence there.
Got to give credit to Wales, because they worked that terrifically well actually. From the back, Hull sucks in young Ben Summers, little nutmeg into his midfield, back, then a great through ball for the run at Ollie Hammond. So the Welsh certainly know how to play. They struggled at times early on in the first half because Scotland were plugging gaps, but they found a way around it. and runners from midfield, again key. Just shows you that you need to match those runners. Ollie Hammond prepared to go in beyond his strikers, much like Colwell's done this afternoon. Wales have got a lot of success from it.
There has been another change for Scotland as well. Josh Adam making his way onto the pitch. Came off the bench on Thursday night's match for his Scotland under-21 debut, and will have just around 15 minutes to try and make an impact in this game. Did get an assist. Took the corner for Lewis Fiorini's goal at the end of that game during the week.
Yep, another opportunity for the young man to impress. 25 minutes or so to go, so plenty of time.
Certainly did impress for the under-19s towards the end of last year. That earned him a call up to this squad. Was one of the later call-ups after a few players dropped out with injuries. But he has benefited from that. There has been a shuffling of the pack as well from Scotland. Max Johnson has come over to this near side now, and it looks as if Josh Mulligan will now play as the right wing back.
Well, again, I think it's important when you assemble a squad to have players that can fill different positions. Max Johnson and Josh Mulligan, no stranger to that at club football as well. Adam Devine, obviously, naturally a right back, but occupied the left hand side today for the majority of the game. That's important because when you change systems, and just like that, Lewis Nielsen just gone down off the ball incident there, he gets up and has a wee shove back at the Welsh forward. I don't think there was too much in it.
Colwell loses out to Mulligan. Tom Dixon-Peters did well to roll his defender there, but was fouled. There's a yellow card as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be a yellow card there because Dixon-Peters does well, ball over the top, uses his body well. I was speaking about that earlier on, just the wrong. I think he's got the pace there to go in. There's no question of it. It was never ever going to be a red card offence or anything like that, but definitely a yellow card. Good play from the front man.
Yeah, Joe Lowe just knew he'd been taken out of the game there by the physical presence of Tom Dixon-Peters. Had to commit the foul. Josh Adam goes short to Fiorini and then all the way back to Jeremiah Mullen.
You know, in possession, I'd just like to see us give Wales a problem. We've got that back three, and quite often one or two of them are just redundant. Maybe step in, try and give Wales something to think about, make their forwards think they need to go with this guy and pick up, and sometimes that just creates the space ahead for one of our more creative players to step in. It's been a wee bit predictable sometimes from our point of view in possession.
Adam. Nice feet by Josh Adam. Finds Ryan Duncan. Nielsen to Johnson. Flicks it around the corner towards Dixon-Peters.
What ball that was. Very difficult coming in his right foot to whip that round the corner.
A lovely turn by Josh Adam, and again wriggling away from his man Duncan. Peters lays it off for Ben Summers. It's Duncan who recovers it for Scotland. Fiorini couldn't find his man with the eventual pass. Lewis Fiorini. Colwell goes back to Stevens. Raymond. He's grounded by Liam Morrison. Ruben Colwell's just gone down on the near side here as well. Who's been one of the real bright sparks for Wales in this game. Maybe one that the coaching staff will have a look at. Potential change. I think he will come off Ruben Colwell. His number is up. There will be a couple of changes for Wales. Joe Cottrell coming on, as well as Owen Hesketh.
Well, thank goodness for that, Andrew. There's no doubt about it. Ruben Colwell been the standout performer today. You can just see his experience and his ability on the ball, his vision as well. And again, I'll keep coming back to it. It's a valuable experience for our young players. Being in and around that, recognising, you know, that you give a player a couple of yards of his ability, he will punish you. So this is in good stead going forward. That's what these games are all about. Both managers utilising the full squads here in the heat in Spain. Takes a lot out of the players, this.
Yeah, Captain Finn Stevens also coming off for Wales. Wolves' own Hesketh, the man replacing him. Joe Cottrell, the other substitute. Swansea City. Goal goes back to Lowe. First touch for Owen Hesketh. Wales will just be happy to see this game out, but Scotland will be keen to try and make their mark in the final few minutes of this game. Dixon Peters to Fiorini. Trying to look for the pass, look for the run of Ryan Duncan, who is making that from midfield.
Yeah, we've never really had the ball for a long enough period throughout the game to really build any sort of meaningful attack. Give our front men, Dixon Peters it is now, but Mabudi or Connor Smith when he was on, a real chance to trouble the Welsh backline. That's been the issue. You know, our back three have seen a lot of possession, but it's just that bit of quality into our midfield that's been missing. But here we go now, we've nicked it here. Oh, certainly a yellow card, surely.
Yeah, the card does come out. The foul was on Josh Mulligan, who switched over to that right wing back role. Did well to knock the ball by his man. Was just cynically taken out.
Does brilliantly there. First to anticipate it, to nick the ball, but then to show the pace, just to nick it round the defender. Just like to see us put the Welsh under a bit of pressure here. You know, it's still a bit of a distance out. Always a difficult ball, particularly when you've not got a left-sided player to whip that in towards the goalkeeper, so it's always going to be an outswinger here.
Yeah, Scotland have been keen to take these quick and short a lot of the time, but it looks as if this one will be delivered into the Wales box. Fiorini goes towards Josh Adam, just creating the angle, the cross. It's actually shepherded out well by Wales. Owen Beck, the man to do so, and it is a wasted opportunity for Scotland.
I think in that situation there, I think it's easy sitting here and watching it, but has to be a pass probably into a striker to then release Josh Adam the wide area rather than that straight pass. You can see there the Welsh had it pretty well covered as soon as Josh Adam starts making his run. You know to follow him, but if it goes into that striker and he plays it round the corner, it's a whole different ball game. That just things like that today, you know, all of them have added up to make it a difficult afternoon for the young Scots.
Well, this game does signal the end for this international camp for these under-21 players. 2 games, Sweden on Thursday and this one against Wales today. They'll return to their respective clubs for the final couple of months of the league season. They'll meet up again later on this year for big crucial qualifiers. Dixon Peters trying to find Josh Adam and hold the ball up for him. Wales win it back, and there's a foul by Josh Mulligan, who's going to go into the book. First Scotland player to do so in this game.
Yeah, just has to be careful there after he gives the foul away. I think you can see the frustration there coming out of a couple of the Scotland players. It's been a long afternoon in the heat for them. Things not quite went their way today. Players maybe been starved of possession. And we all know how frustrating that can be when you're on the pitch, and sometimes you're chasing shadows, and no matter what you do, you can't get close to anyone. It's been a bit like that this afternoon.
And Wales just quite happy to slow things down, do things at their own pace with this 3-goal lead.
I think they certainly will be. Welsh manager will be pretty happy with how they've moved the ball, and they've found answers to Scotland's press in the first half. It certainly look like they've assembled a squad that knows what they're doing. Good mix of experience and youth in there also.
Yeah, well, a few of these under-21 players for Scotland earning their first couple of caps in this camp, and plenty more to come for a few of them as well, given their ages. A lot of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds in this Scotland squad who will be available for many more of these under-21 cycles.
Yeah, and a lot of them can be proud from their performances over the last 2 games. Particularly today, it's maybe harder to pick out standout players on the day because you're facing a Welsh side that have been in control for the large majority. But I think the man on the ball just now, Lewis Nielsen, has shown that he's more than capable of occupying the left side of a 3. He's more than comfortable. I know it's not his natural position, but he looks powerful, he looks strong, matched his runners, but in possession he looks like a player that's always looking forward. I think he's been a real positive today.
Josh Adam does well to get away from a few white shirts, but the pass wasn't towards a Scotland player. Raymond flicks it on. There's a foul by Josh Adam. Scotland also hampered by the fact that the likes of Josh Doig, Hayden Hackney, Kieran Bowie, who all performed well in that game on Thursday night, returned to their clubs over the weekend, unable to feature in this match. Ben Summers in there to win the ball. Shirt was being pulled by Luca Hull. Scotland taken quickly. Nielsen. Mullen. Mullen checks back. Here's Josh Adam. Earlier, Wales just happy to slow things down in the final moments of this game. Will we see potentially a final chance for one of these teams as we enter the final minute of the 90? Poole goes forward.
Well, it seems a long time away to the start of the qualification campaign, but 6 months will pass pretty quickly, Andrew, and I'm sure these players will have a few opportunities to meet up again and familiarise themselves with each other, take stock of what's went wrong today.
It was a lovely turn, and there's a chance for Ollie Hammond here. Jeremiah Mullen gets across quickly. Liam Morrison had committed the initial foul, but it was all opened up by a nice spin by Joe Taylor on the ball.
Yeah, good piece of skill there from Taylor. Morrison, it wasn't for the second one, I think it was for the first foul initially. Just gives the Welsh a chance to maybe have a pop at Murray Johnson in goals, add to their tally. Difficult one this. What are we talking, 25 yards out perhaps? Right side of the box, favours a left footer. I'm sure he'll have a pop here.
Zach Ashworth standing over it, as is Owen Beck. 2 left footers. It does look as if it will be a shot. Owen Beck to take it, goes low, hits the feet of Tom Dixon-Peters. That will be a free kick to Scotland. Josh Adam fouled as he recovered the ball. Did well initially to win it. are 1 minute into the minimum of 3 additional minutes that have been added in this game. Of course, there has been water breaks because of the heat in Spain. Well, I think that maybe it's just a sign of the frustration of these Scotland players. Tom Dixon Peters booked for just clipping the defender after the ball had gone.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Dixon Peters there just hugely frustrated. Little kick out there at the centre half. And we just need to keep the head. I've been there before, Andrew, where you're on the pitch and it seems like everything's going against you. You've hardly seen the ball, but you need to remember what these games are for. You know, they're friendly games, they're warm-up games for a much important campaign further down the line. We don't just want to go lashing out in these situations, so Dixon Peters just needs to keep the head.
Fiorini wins a free kick just inside his own half. Fiorini, who goes quickly. It's a good ball towards Max Johnson, but he was offside, the Motherwell fullback. Showing his versatility as well, switching to this left wing back role after playing most of the game over on the right. What do you think Scott Gemmell will take away from this camp as a whole, Mark?
I feel like he would have had a good look at his players on the training pitch. They've seen some moments of quality, and particularly Sweden game. A disappointing one for the young Scots this afternoon. A lot to learn playing against players who have played at the top level. You take away that his shape, what worked and what didn't, I suppose, and you look at that going forward.
Well, the full-time whistle has sounded at the Pinatar Arena. Wales comfortable winners by the scoreline, 3-0 against Scotland. 2 of those goals coming in the first half, and then adding a third in the second 45. Scotland maybe would have liked to have tested the Wales goalkeeper Eddie Beach a bit more than they did, but it does bring to a close this camp. The Scotland players have been over in Spain since last Monday. Some valuable time training together, playing together, just being together as a group as well, because some of these players won't have played together before. Some of these players